said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola.
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my Lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my Lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Legally Speaking on Play Radio 101.1 FM and Spectrum TV, Star Times and Free to Air stations. My name is Anthony Ebuka. I really apologize for coming on to you late. We've had some technical difficulties here. All right, today on Legally Speaking, we'll be looking at a couple of issues that really affect especially the swearing in that is coming up on the 29th day of May 2023. 29th day of May 2023 is Monday. And there's been a lot of courtroom actions. These courtroom actions are basically geared towards stopping the inauguration, the planned inauguration by the Constitution. All right, so how is it planning to stop? How did they plan to stop inauguration? In the listing, in the Federal High Court, the Supreme Court at the federal level, there was an attempt by PDP to scuttle the swearing in with a suit filed against the Vice President Shetima, who has a joint ticket with the President, His Excellency now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes, His Excellency. He was His Excellency before now, and he still remains His Excellency. All right. So, secondly, we had a suit too in Akwa Ibom State locally, where there was an attempt to also foil the planned inauguration of the incoming governor of Akwa Ibom State, Basi Umoino, and we will discuss that in details. Furthermore, there has been this plan by the people that call themselves Obedience. The Obedience seek to demonstrate on Saturday. So their planned demonstration is with respect to what they call interest of good governance and so on. So we'll discuss all those things, and I hope we'll have time to wrap them up and give you a swell time. I have here in the studio with my guest Hannah Essien. Hannah, you're welcome to the show. Hannah is not a lawyer. Hannah is a teacher and has vast interest in social development. Hannah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I also have Etini Basi. Etini Basi is a legal practitioner. She's with Law Partners and Associates. Etini, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, let's get the ball rolling. Where do we start? Let's start with the planned. Okay, the case of Umar Basieno. This is a case where an action was taken against Umar Basieno. Umar Basieno was as ordained the candidate for the People's Democratic Party, represented the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 election. Now, a private citizen took his action out against him on the grounds that his company owed him some monies and did not pay. This action was taken at the magistrate court in Abuja, and the magistrate ordered his arrest and the judgment filed against him, in the case filed against him. In a very swift reaction, the legal team of Umar Paseno got in and got the matter sorted out, and the judgment of court and the ruling of that magistrate court was set aside. Not satisfied with that, the plaintiff then went to the High Court on appeal, and right now the matter is at the Court of Appeal, and there was a move to probably scuttle the swearing in, the planned swearing in of 29th of May. I don't know if you're familiar with the position today, Hannah. As at today, the court adjourned the matter because they were served late. There was a document that was filed and served on the Umar Baseno's team. That matter was adjourned to the 2nd or thereabout of June. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. I only remember when we talked about the case when the magistrate gave the order convicting him.
Okay.
And we had talked about the fact that Omeno's team will appeal it, and I think we had also pointed out that he said he wasn't even aware, meaning that he wasn't served, and the magistrate just went ahead and convicted him without him. Was it a warrant of arrest for him or something? Without him appearing in court. So. Okay. I can't say that I am aware of.
Of course, you wouldn't say so. I think what's important today is to highlight the fact that, granted, this matter is pending in court. As soon as Umar is sworn in on the 29th, that's a personal matter against him. That it.
Okay.
He stands suspended until he's out of office.
It's out of office because of what is that thing called?
Immunity clause. The immunity clause. So you can't proceed against him again. So this was the last chance they had to hold him in the neck and probably frustrate his swearing in. But as it stands, that has been put to rest. I mean, the panic attack, if there was any, has been suspended now.
So is that because the court has not? Which court are we talking about now? Okay, is that the Court of Appeal? Who is appealing? The plaintiff is appealing because a High Court had overruled the magistrate court's decision. Okay.
So that's about that on that case. It's good news to Mono's camp. It's a big relief because if anything can happen at this point, you always have to pray. So who wants the fact level things, right? 2 days from now, anything can still happen. Yes, 2 days from now, anything can still happen. The Court of Appeal too. No, the Supreme Court this time. The Supreme Court this time ruled on a pending application, appeal brought by the legal team of the PDP. The legal team of the PDP challenged the candidacy or the legitimacy of the candidacy of Alhaji Shetima, His Excellency Shetima too. Are you still angry with that? His Excellency Shetima.
Shetima, is he a present governor right
He was.
now? Oh.
He was. But you see, the nomenclature stands. The moment you are governor, you are His Excellency forever. So whether you're contesting to be president or vice president and you can't win, you are still the governor. All right? Okay. So Shetima, according to them, had double nomination. One as a senator, then as a vice president, and eventually got to be vice president. And they're saying that some sections of the Electoral Act prohibit that. So Hannah?
Well, the case, the PDP filed a suit and it went up to the Supreme Court. What was the suit that they were challenging the legitimacy of Shetima's candidacy as a vice president to Alhaji Tinubu on the grounds that he was nominated for to be a senator for Borno Central. And then he has also been nominated to be vice president, that it contravenes sections of the Electoral Act. And the sections named were Section 29, Sub 1, Section 33, Section 35, and Section 84, Sub 1 and 2. Now the court decided that the Supreme Court decided that the case lacked merit, and pronounced the PDP as lacking locus standi to file the suit, right? And the judge who pronounced the judgment, because I understand the Supreme Court is comprised of 5 judges, so one person reads the judgment, right? So the judge who pronounced the judgment said that the PDP is a meddlesome interloper, that the affair is an internal business of the APC, meaning that it wasn't the APC, the PDP that should have filed the suit. So the case was dismissed as lacking merit. So when you say that someone doesn't have a locus standi to file a suit, explain what that means.
Okay, generally, local standing, in simple terms, it means legal standing. That means, let me put it this way, it means the capacity the person has to institute an action in court. The legal standing of the person. Does the person have the legal backing? Does he have the legal capacity to bring that particular matter in court?
Okay, you say city is also stating the law as the law sounds. So let me explain this.
The judge said, apart from saying that they lacked the local standing, he said a meddlesome interloper. And I know that in ordinary English, when you meddle, it means you're poking your nose into something that doesn't concern you.
Yeah, I think that's why I wanted to explain it from this angle. Interest, what direct interest or direct benefit do you have in the case? You are not a member of my party, and you're coming to say, I didn't share the food well. What's your own? Let the person that got the food say they didn't share the food well. I stood as a beneficiary, a direct beneficiary of that food. You wouldn't have benefited from the food because you are concerned about the one that is happening in your party. We all had nominations. I was nominating in my party, you were nominating in your own party. Why were you looking across your fence to see how I was going around my own nomination? So whoever meddles is the one that does not belong to where the food sharing is done, but wants to know who ate 2 meat and 1 meat. And now this matter had started from the courts and went across ranks and got to the Supreme Court, who are the final people. Now it would have been a very, very dangerous precedent if the Supreme Court had said otherwise. So whereas the Court of Appeal had said differently, we were all familiar with what the court should say. There was still that level of tension that what if the court says they are right, you weren't properly nominated, then there will be a constitutional crisis. What will happen? Okay, so I go back again to who is a meddlesome interloper. Now, who has locus standi?
Who has locus
Yes,
standi?
locus standi
And why does the law
is emphasized on that.
on having locus standi?
All right, I have a business with the University of Uyo. Let's assume I'm a lecturer there and I'm paid salaries. Along the line, maybe because of some misunderstanding between me and the faculty where I belong or the department, I'm not paid salary for 3 months. My wife goes to court and sues the university for withholding my salary. The court will say, who are you? He said, I'm his wife. So why are you here? He said he buys food for me with that salary, so I have an interest in that salary. The court will say, no. There's a privity of contract between the person you are suing for and the person you are suing, which does not include you. Your name can be found anywhere in the contract of employment of this man. You are just a wife. Even though you are benefiting from the salary, you cannot sue on the contract. So you don't have the standing, the legal authority to sue this person, even when you are benefiting from that contract between your husband and him.
There is that you are not the one who is injured, so you shouldn't come
Yes,
complaining.
even though the injury has come remotely.
Yes, but you're not the one who is injured.
No,
So
no.
if-
Maybe we put it this way: even when you are injured, right?
No,
you
what,
do not
what I'm
have a
using
direct
the word.
relationship.
I mean, what I mean is, I was the one who was supposed to be paid salary, and I am the one who has not been paid. So you shouldn't come complaining. If the one that has not been paid is not complaining, please go and sit down. Don't come.
Even if he
and
was
complain.
complaining, you are not in the right.
That's
standing
what
to
it
be
means.
Part of the complaint.
Okay. So that means applying it to the PDP APC thing, the court is saying that the PDP wasn't injured
Yeah, the members
by
of the APC.
by the APC not doing things correctly according to what was stipulated by the Electoral Act.
So at that point, the court is saying whether or not it was right. We are not even going to the merit of that. We'll stick to the question: who are you?
Yeah, because the judge said that after declaring the PDP a meddlesome interloper, said that it was an internal APC thing, meaning that they weren't affected. They shouldn't be the ones complaining.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm wondering, so if somebody from the APC complained, who would have been in a position to complain?
You don't want to take that?
Yeah, I think it should have been any member of the party, APC,
That contested.
that contested and is approved. Should have been the person.
Because if I wake up now and say I'm a card carrying member of APC and I sue from Akwa Ibom, they ask, how did it affect you? Well, did you buy the form? Were you one of those contesting for that office of the vice presidency or the senatorial seat? You understand?
Because they are calling for his disqualification of Tinubu as a presidential I mean, this case, I think I've heard you talk about pre-election matter, so we're hearing of it because it was appealed to the Supreme Court. That's why we're hearing of it now. That means it was taken to court earlier.
Yes.
It's now that it has reached the Supreme Court. It has been appealed to the Supreme Court. That's why we're hearing of it. But I'm thinking, the court said PDP doesn't have local standing, and I'm thinking, okay, you're saying it would have been another presidential candidate.
No,
would have been
somebody that contested from the party.
That's what I'm saying. Another person who contested for presidential candidacy, or could it have been somebody who anybody who had contested in the party?
If you shared the podium with him,
okay,
he contested for the presidency, good, or I contested for the Borno Central senatorial seat, right? And I could raise that issue. But majorly, if I contested the Borno Central and it came from PDP, from the presidency, and stopped my nomination, right? Then I could have grounds to challenge it. Now, I did not say that the challenge will fly. I'm simply saying that is the right person to challenge him. He bought the ticket. His name was on the nomination box. He could contest that position. But the other ones are members and they don't have legal rights to that. Well, no, why the law? Why the law makes such provision? You have an idea why the law made that provision?
For the member of the party.
Like the double nomination. You are barring the double nomination.
Yeah, so that one person cannot emerge for two positions and then will bring about conflict.
Okay. Because I can be a rich man. My name can be Dangote. And I buy nomination form in all the states. And I become governorship aspirant. Okay, maybe in one state. I buy nomination form in all the parties. So at the end of the day, I'm the only person contesting. Because in PDP, my name comes out as PDP nominee, APC nominee. I'm on nominee in all parties.
I don't think that would be possible.
But that's what the law says.
Supposed to, I mean, parties are supposed to
submit their names.
a list of What candidates?
Yeah, but the law is very clear.
120 days before.
What 80 days?
But what I'm curious is the portions of electoral acts that they based their suits on. The portions they said Tinubu contravened section 29 and sub 1, which is talking about a party submitting lists 120 days before.
180 days.
Oh, okay, 180 days. Then section 33, which talked about a candidate being to be replaced only on death. If someone was elected, okay, it's called nomination at the primary elections level, that if someone was nominated and the person dies, it's only on death that a nominee can be replaced. And then there has to be another primary elections conducted within 12 days. And then section 35, that they also said these people contravened, it talks about, that's the one that talks about the forbidding nomination on 2 parties. I think it said 2 political parties, and then it also said nomination for 2 constituents.
Yeah, constituency.
Now, what does that mean?
For 2 political parties first.
That one is clear enough. It's a constituency.
For constituency, it means
Okay. So if you look at the way the country is divided, so it's divided into constituencies. I could have nomination, especially if I'm a lady. I'm married to somebody in Itu, and I'm from Ikorobasi. You know, I come to the constituency of birth and buy a nomination form because I'm popular there. My husband is equally popular in Itu, and I buy another form, a nomination form, even if it's for the same political party. The idea is I'm gambling. If I fail here, I win here, and the law forbids that. Okay? If the same thing could happen, you buy a nomination form in Uyo, buy again in Northern Cross River, you're contesting the same office. You want where you can have more popularity. Or like I said earlier on, my name is Dangote, I buy forms everywhere. I can afford it. I can buy votes, I can buy people. And I image multiple nominees. So at the end of the day, I sit down and pick and choose which one would I want to go for. You've deprived other people who ought to have contested for that position from contesting to that position. I open the phone lines now. The numbers to call will be 090-222-31011. I repeat that number, 090-222-31011. The alternative number is 070-454-17707. Alternative number 070-454-17707. The phone numbers are now open to admit calls. Sorry we had to delay it because we started out a bit late. So call us and let's have a talk. All right, so go on.
Yeah, still on that, because I've listened to your explanation and I'm wondering, assuming it was not a medicine interloper who brought this in, because I remember that when Vice President Atiku Abubakar was nominated as Vice VP for President Obasanjo, then I think he had one nomination for governorship of his state or something like that. And I'm thinking, so if a member of PDP then, okay, maybe then if there was no provision for that in the electoral
okay, let's assume so. Yes.
Okay, maybe then there was no provision for that in the electoral act. That's why it didn't come up. But looking at the situation here, that Shetima had a nomination into 2 constituents, from what you've said, it doesn't look to me as if it applies. But I'm not. Thank God it was a medicine interloper that took the case to court.
Even if it did apply, you know, sometimes the court seems to want to give the political parties, the leeway to pick and choose how they want to present their candidates.
You're saying that it gives the parties a leeway to, then why have an electoral act
as long as
telling them how to get things done?
As long as the decision is by all members of the political party, as long as nobody is disenfranchised, as long as everybody's right is respected, the court seems to say at the end of the day, the political parties fall and rise with the quality of candidates they put forward.
Are you saying that at the expense of the Electoral Act?
Not necessarily at the expense of the Electoral Act, but there are certain conditions of the Electoral Act where you see insofar as, provided you see those things coming as a clause. When matters go to court, a lot of times you hear the court say political parties are bound by their own constitution. They want to judge based on your own constitution. Your own constitution appears to be what everybody agrees to. So when you are in breach of your own constitution, the court will shine its eye. But these constitutions now have hidden clauses that say any aspect of this constitution can be overwritten by either the ESCO or the General Assembly. And so that way they could say, yes, we waived the provision of you being a member of the political party at least 30 days to the time. They say we had a clause to waive, and the party waived, and the court will stand by it.
All right.
I'm sure you've heard about that. The law says submit the names of all the members of the political parties within like 180 days.
Yes.
Now, the idea was to curb and protect people to remain in political parties, whether or not they lose nomination in other court.
Okay.
Now, we became ingenious in Nigeria, and we created another loophole and said the party reserves the right to waive. So we take a Peter Obi from PDP who was
because I've seen instances where people lost nomination in one party and
now
went
give him a
to
waiver
another
to the
party.
rules.
It's not just Peter Obi. You like mentioning Peter Obi a lot.
No, but
Also, I
forgot
forgot to add that 2 million was awarded against the PDP on that.
Yes, that was small. Yes. So talking about cost awarded, a senior lawyer in well, that was what they called him. I don't know if it's an advocate of Nigeria. Was awarded 40 million. 40 million was awarded against him by the Court of Appeal, and the grounds for that award was that the court found him meddling into affairs he ought not to meddle into. The 2019 election crossed 2 electoral years, and you're coming to say Buhari should not have been president. I ought to have been president. You understand? I ought to have been president. Now, court stopped the inauguration because I still have a chance to be president. So, so the court awarded as much as 40 million against him. That the application was frivolous, was an abuse of the process of court. So what's an abuse of the process of court? Is that with you?
Abuse of process of court means when you brought, like you said, a frivolous suit to court, a suit that you know that is not, I don't know the word to use, but it's not...
It's vexatious.
Yes, it's vexatious.
And it's not supported in law.
It's not supported in law. It's not supported in normal, to a normal individual. It's not supported. So that's when the suit becomes...
No, yeah, because if you look at like now, you contested election, your party wasn't among the top 3, you're almost wrong bottom, and you start raising issues, and because you have access to court, you sue everybody, and these cases keep coming up that have no basis. Some people file suit because they want their names to be on the pages of newspaper. XYZ has brought an action, an interim injunction against the swearing in of the President Goodluck Jonathan or President that, and you're like, where is that one coming from? Who are you in the first place? What rights do you even have to bring this action? I'm sure if the courts begin to explore this approach of slamming costs against lawyers who file fictitious and frivolous applications and suits.
Okay, what's the difference between, because in the case of the PDP suits seeking to disqualify Tinubu, it wasn't described as frivolous, it was described as lacking in merit.
Yeah, lacking in merits and lacking in standing too. So now it's at the
So what's the
discretion.
difference? You said this one was because they said it was a frivolous suit, a waste of a court's time. lack in merit and a waste of court time. What's the difference? Sorry, I am
No, it's okay. It's okay. Until you give him the short first.
The first one said it wasn't necessarily lacking in merit. The first one said it lacked the legal standing to bring the matter to court. That means the court had entertained it that first time and then later discovered that it lacked the legal standing. But this particular one, from beginning, it was vexatious, it was frivolous, because number one, the person did not have the legal capacity, because that goes to the main matter, to the jurisdiction of the matter. Like, did you have the capacity to bring the suit? How long did you stay before you brought this matter to court?
I think the other part, the position of the law was that the issues you are canvassing was already canvassed at the Election Petition Tribunal and was taken to the Supreme Court, and judgment was given. And you are recanvassing the same issues again as though they weren't ever canvassed. Are you asking the court to reverse what had been done? Yes, because one, if you file an action and you are challenging the, let's say, the certificate of a particular candidate, and some other party has taken this matter all the way to the Supreme Court, and the court had rested that case, that certificate does not matter, and you still file an action, whereas the Supreme Court had rested it, and you bring in that issue all the way back to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court might slam 100 million on you in the time of the court to decide on what have been decided. Or are you hoping that the Supreme Court will change their mind in this case? Unless there's a recondite issue, unless it is a 50-50 post, like there are sometimes you don't have unanimous decisions of the court, you have dissenting judgments, and the court was a 4-3 decision of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will sit 7 justices, and 4 were in support, 3 were against. If you bring that position again, the court will likely say, okay, we can look at it. At the last time it came, there were so many dissenting voices. Let's see if, apart from the votes, if there are some issues of law that can be trashed out of this. The way the law clearly states that at the end of the day, in an election, where the election petition fails or succeeds, the person with the next ranking vote will become the president or governor. And you weren't even in the ranking vote. You're rock bottom. You didn't have up to 3 votes. And you're the one filing this application and raising a whole lot of dust. And what do you stand to benefit? You just want to scuttle the apricot. So the court will necessarily look at, one, is there any issue worth trying? If there's an issue worth trying, it doesn't matter that it had come before. The court will try it, decide against you, and not award heavy costs. Because this was punitive cost, 10 million to every party that you sued, making it 40 million. That was punitive. The court is sending a message to other lawyers. Be careful what you bring before us. We are too overburdened with work. So when you want to come before us, be sure there's something we can look at, and not just something to put your name on the pages of newspaper at the expense of our old age and stress, right? So that's it. So that we will not forget this last issue. The last issue is very critical. The Labour, do I say Labour Party? Yes, I can still say Labour. Okay, it's not Labour Party. A class of people who call themselves obedience, right? Is that better? Are planning a demonstration on the 27th of May, which is Saturday. Oh, that's tomorrow, right? Yeah, yes, across the nation. And in Akwa Ibom State, it's supposed to start at IBB. Now, it raises a question, legal questions, which I think we can discuss. The legal question is, one, is peaceful demonstration democratic? The answer by me, yes. Everybody has the right to peacefully demonstrate. But there's a second question.
When you say democratic, think you should say, is it legal?
Is it legal?
Allowed.
Allowed under the democratic dispensation? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
But the second one will now be where the peaceful demonstration is to promote an illegality. Is it still allowable, or is it still within the jurisdiction? One would ask, what do you mean by if it is within jurisdiction? Now, if you tag the peaceful demonstration and say, because of the trending, the way the courts are ruling out judgments, we need this. This is the last hope. We have to stand up and shout. It means you are criticizing the institution of democracy, the judiciary. You are saying democracy, the judiciary is not doing justice. We have to take our laws into our hands. And even when you tag it as peaceful demonstration, why do you shake the faith of the people in a judicial system? Have you considered that? Yeah, you consider it, Tine.
Everybody has a right to peaceful demonstration. They have a right to air their views on what they do not like. And then from what I saw, from what I read online about that demonstration, according to them, it's to take back, in quotes, a stolen mandate.
Yeah, if you can have it, you can read it.
Just
so you won't quote. No, not up, just somewhere under their reasoning.
Okay, to take back, to wrestle their country, that's the word, from the hands of these wicked people, in quotes. So wrestling the country out of the hands of which wicked people are we talking about?
Who are the wicked people? Who are those fighting with you? Does that give you a connotation of peaceful demonstration?
And then they linked it to 27 May, saying that okay, that they want to do it on a day that, since they say children are leaders of tomorrow, and then they want to do it on a Children's Day, children that their future can easily be taken from them.
I mean the tone. If have you seen that letter? Let's read some part of it. I'm not sure you've seen it, but go through it.
Yeah, I've lost. He said this might be the only opportunity left for Nigerians to wrestle their country from the hands of these wicked people, since Nigerians have lost hope in the judiciary.
How can you say that? I mean, it's a very wrong thing to say. Now, if that demonstration is stopped now by the police, which I think they should, people will say it's a democracy, but allow people to express themselves, peaceful expression of selves. How would you say that when you have said you're wresting power from the hands of people by demonstrating? Wicked people. And you're saying the judiciary, we've lost hope in the judiciary. What did you want the judiciary to do?
What has the judiciary done?
Personally, I think it's not fair to say in a blanket manner that the judiciary is fair, because I know people who are getting justice for themselves in their personal matters are going to the courts. So I believe it's very unfair for someone to come up and declare that the judiciary is not doing well in that manner. He concluded by saying that the biscuit has been stolen from the child, and people are saying that the child should not cry. We are here. Allegations have been made. Something was, if I tell you that you've stolen from me, I have to go to court and prove that you stole. Isn't that how it works?
And that even had biscuit in the first place.
Evidence that it has, because anybody can stand up and accuse somebody of stealing. That's why we have courts. That's why you're expected to prove beyond reasonable doubts. Does that come in stealing? Proving beyond reasonable doubt.
Of course.
That this person stole before sentence can be slapped on a person. And someone stands up and says, my mandate was stolen. And we are waiting, you go to court and show evidence that your mandate was stolen. People stand up and say, we are protesting. What are we protesting?
Are you saying that they should stop the court process?
Are we saying that people shouldn't go to court anymore? I wake up and I point to you and say you stole from me,
and everybody agrees with me that you stole from me. Is that how what we are protesting and saying that's how we should be running things in the country?
And people don't just go to court and expect judgments to be in their favor. It has to be proven that this and this happened, that this mandate was actually stolen from you. You have to prove it in court that it was stolen. In circumstances that you are not able to prove, who are you to blame for that if the case is true?
I mean, if you're so convinced, show glaring evidence that nobody can contest.
All right. Well, in the end, I would say since the matter is in court, there is no reason why anybody, howsoever or whosoever, should be on the streets. Allow the court process to run through. This is a democracy. If you say you are protecting democracy, protect democracy democratically, not rascally. All right, that's the size of Legally Speaking today. I have been with Hannah Isen and Etini Basi. My name is Anthony, a legal practitioner, law partners and associate. I hope everything you do from now to next week when we meet again will be legal.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abuse. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.